loud, we're clear, and we're back in. So maybe, I don't think anybody's changed countries, perhaps we can get a quick recap of last time. We were told that after the carnage of Europe, supposedly the hatchet had been buried, and, you know, we weren't, people weren't ready to be causing any more bloodlust in at least Central Europe, or so we've been told. But I think outside of there, the tinderbox is ready to break out. We still have a lot of ongoing conflicts happening in Iberia, plenty happening between Benin and Kilwa in Africa, not to mention the various big players we have in the Far East. After all, Starnan has assumed the Ming, and he's been gobbling up the border provinces. Now currently the only war going on right now is Ming, who's having perhaps not the most bombastic fight against Mong-Nai. Again, the Starnan is here to close down his borders, and the last of the AIs. If you check the player map mode, you can see how few AIs there are left in the world. Sankey pointing out that 200 years there was Scots fighting, was it with or against Portugal? Brazil remembers and now provides financial support in Scotland's time of need. But he's talking about the USA. We back in action, Johan?
Yeah, I had to go and use my phone instead of my...
instead of the Discord thing.
The Discord on my PC were like, no, we don't want to work anymore. And it's like, I tried to like restart it and I just see the spinning wheels.
Okay. Well, we have you back and I think we can hear you. Well, I can hear you loud and clear. And Nurgle's giving me a nod as well, so we're looking good. I was just saying the only war that we have going on right now is Ming, but we've passed 1650, so people do have their 3,000 point victory cards. So we'll see if anybody makes a move on those. I often think the advantage goes to the attacker for at least the first 6 months to a year if they pull the trigger without people seeing it coming. Taking a quick look at the score comparison, we have Delhi in there at number 1, then we got Ming in Nepal. Saxony doing very well on score, and they're about to rocket their way up as well because they're still drinking up that 3,000 points they get for securing Tyrol. Now, funnily enough, Milan also had that as a victory card, but Milan, probably out of self-preservation, decided not to pursue that, since it would put him at odds with Saxony, no doubt.
Yeah, but there's something with Saxony's borders that feels dangerous.
Yeah, they are spread wide and they don't have a lot of depth in defense, but they do have a lot of strong allies over to their north and east. I just think that if there's any more big European wars, Saxony's going to be on the front line no matter which side they choose, unless they go down a path of neutrality, and neutrality's never worked for anyone.
No, it doesn't work.
Also thinking about the victory cards situation. Who's managed to really secure theirs?
If I'm playing the Commonwealth, it's like they've turned into the strongest country in the world, I would argue. Really masterful play, really nice country and strong there. Basically propping up Saxony, Prussia and Brunswick. If I'm a Commonwealth, I'm like, I have a chance for a trophy. Why should I where will I get should I get my victory card? Should I destroy Hungary or should I destroy Prussia? Because Prussia needs the victory cards for me. And it's like, yes, they are very good friends, but...
Yeah, the thing is Prussia has all their victory cards on the Commonwealth. So, but then again, so does Hungary. If the Commonwealth really wanted to strike out for victory, they might side with one against the other and then turn on the one that they sided with, but that could leave them a little high and dry when it comes to allies. So perhaps they could pick the one victory card that's going to put them into the best position and drive forward with that. So they got a 3,000 point on Prussia, so they have to take the whole state around Berlin there. Or they've got their, is that the 2,000 point? Yeah, 2,000 points in Hungary. Both loads of points to get. And I really see Hungary as a softer target. They are spread so thin across the world. They're huge, but that land is just not worth anything compared to what the Commonwealth have.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting Really interesting next few sessions here.
Yeah, I'm curious
This
what
is
Hungary's
like-
up to with this entanglement out towards the east.
It's like Ming and Brazil, they're earning a lot of victory and they're really powerful, and Japan as well, so Nepal. So it's like Saxony and Commonwealth. Should they get a... Oh, we have a player war. It's France versus Brazil. What's happened here? Brazilian conquest of San Antonio. Is it a fake war or...
Well, there's not a lot left of France, so I don't think this will be lasting too long for... Well, that's right. France relocated. They're kind of over in California. They're in no position to defend. So there we go. They've already capitulated, and the Falklands now rightfully belong to Brazil. And that's not all they took. They took the very southern tip of South America, even though it was just a Breton colony, and they took it.
Yeah, because South America is Brazil.
Oh, pretty much.
Yes, there's a New Granada there, but that's a colonial nation of Castile or Spain, and Spain is not really...
Well, Spain is a thing of yesteryear. The player is now just Mexico. There is Suriname, held on by, well, it's an Andalusian colony, formerly a Moroccan colony. But if Brazil says, I'm taking that, what can Andalusia really do?
Yeah.
Then again, the two are working together. I don't see them turning on that, but I could certainly see Brazil just gobbling up New Granada over there. They have little reason not to. I think they're just trying to take control of the whole, or most of the continent. And, you know, why wouldn't they? They're in a very strong position. They rank 2nd in admin, 3rd in diplo, and 4th in military. They're making a lot of score. Not least of all, they're still holding on to their victory card in Lower Andalusia. But well, they've got 2 more to go for. They got a 2,000 on Andalusia, and I don't think they'll go for that. But they do have a 3,000 point on Benin. It would be a very difficult one to take the fight to Benin in their home continent, but I do think Brazil could pull it off. If Benin lost support of Andalusia and Brazil, and heavens knows they've made an enemy in Quilba, who would really help them? Their only other ally is Jerusalem, and whilst I admire everything Jerusalem's done, I don't see them being a major power in African warfare.
No, not unless it involves fleet war. Oh, we have a player war.
Yeah, we've got more going on. Milan is up to against Timurids? What's this all
Timurids, about? Everyone's against the Timurids. It's the...
the Jerusalemite Crusade. We did have Duplo coming in, Duplo and Wissington, the Pope and Jerusalem, saying that yes, they have new crusades, but I did not expect it to be against the Timurids, especially since they work together.
No, it's not against the Timurids, it's against Yemen. But Timurid is on the side of Yemen, because it's like, if they let Yemen fall, they are next.
Yeah, I mean, Yemen is a bit of the insulator against the Timurids. Are they going to mobilize and assist their ally? I have to remember though, Yemen have joined Timurids in fights, but not really brought much of the fight. So I wonder if this is time for Timurids to return that favor. The Timurids don't have the largest or mightiest army I've ever seen. But he's hell and high water to invade.
Yeah, and they're gonna keep fighting that war. It's a crusade though.
Yeah,
so
they need to win the battles.
And the Yemen let them march through the desert, get up to the heartlands in Ethiopia and whatever is left of the infidel armies.
That would work for them. I mean, there's a good bit of value in Cairo, but beyond that, there's nothing of value until they hit Ethiopian gold mines. So I wonder if Yemen is going to let them come in, or if they're going to counterattack. The fortifications aren't very strong up here, so I don't think they're going to last very long.
No.
And what of Timurids? I see his armies marching east, not west. But here we go. It's just so what powers do we have? Just Milan, Jerusalem, and the Papal State. So all the numbers look fairly even between them. There's not a lot of difference in army strength.
We have a hot charting play. That's why.
We got Gorion coming back in. Gorion. Who's Gorion playing again? Ah, Andalusia, of course. And who knows, maybe Andalusia has something to say about this crusade going on, but maybe not in their interest to get involved because, well, actually, And Lucia could just march through Sardinia Piedmont to bring the fight to Milan and Papal States, but I don't think Sardinia Piedmont would be so happy about that. I wonder if this will escalate or stay in a relatively even state like it is right now.
Oh, we have another player war.
I see the Ming.
I don't know where we're paused.
The Ming is fighting against Manchu here.
I'm not sure the word fighting is the correct. It's.
I think it's just taking. He has a claim. He wants to take it. I mean, if I was him, I'd be taking that whole area. But Manchu really can't resist against this one very well. He's got a not a bad army, but compared to the Ming, it's just a stepping stone for them.
Yeah, and even if like the Indians and there's an Hungarian border in Yemen.
Yeah, the borders here aren't the greatest.
Oh, if I'm Hungary, I'm like, if I'm Commonwealth, I would just blitz Hungary, take the victory card and say like, well, I want this victory card. We can be friends afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know why the Commonwealth isn't just straight up taking that, because Hungary... What can Hungary even do? They're far too overextended to bring much of a fight there. Maybe Commonwealth would benefit from having some more fortifications along that border, but otherwise, just take it. Take what you need and roll on.
And the Christian armies are marching along the Nile up to the heartlands. They're bleeding attrition.
Yeah, this is not fun places to be sieging down. Up, we have a small rebel outbreak for Yemen as well. But there we go. Yemen is holding tight. There's good mountainous land to defend for them here. They have the forts established. They should just make absolutely sure they win those battles, and also make sure that they maintain the straight crossing over the Red Sea here. They need to get over to Mocha from Tayura so that they can get into, well, get between Arabia and Ethiopia essentially.
Yeah, but I don't think they have the fleets for it.
No. When it comes to the fleet, that's where Jerusalem really shines. Jerusalem's 100 galleys are going to be dominating in both the Med and the Red.
Yeah, but they don't care about the Med, and I don't think they have 100 fleet in the Red Sea.
No, but I think they got plenty. Oh, and they're well led there as well. So Yemen need to win the battles here. And the Timurids are just not mobilizing. I can't help but feel that from the Timurids' point of view, this is poetic justice for Yemen not mobilizing in Timurids' wars in India. But Yemen's going to have to fight this one on their own, it looks like. Because the Crusaders are not... You can see they're not aggravating their way into Timurid land. They're just calmly marching down through Yemen. They're sticking close to each other. They're offering support to each other, as they should. This is actually a really well organized crusade. I like what I'm seeing here.
80k into Arabia, and what is it? Almost 100k down to Ethiopia. I think that if the Ethiopians are fighting, there might be an even.
Oh, there's opportunity for them to catch out Milan's army. They've gone for the fort in Agu, and if I'm Yemen, I'm thinking now's my chance.
Yeah, but the Milanese and the rest of them are coming.
They are coming, but
yeah,
I think Yemen's in with a shot.
It's on highlands. They should fight the battle there.
Yeah, they should
before
take
that
it.
fort.
That fort's not going to last. Okay, well, he's got this one chance. We'll see what Yemen can do. Yemen's got a lot of troops here.
It's not going to reach in time.
Could happen. There we go. There we go. Can Yemen make this one happen? There's a lot of reinforcements coming in, but wow, look at the advantage Yemen's got in that fight. If his front line can just hold. There we go. Crusaders sent packing. And again, this is a crusade. War score from battles is what matters, and they just got a large chunk, 7 from that one battle there. I mean, their navy is getting blitzed, but those are the kind of battles they need to win. Unfortunately, their fortifications are being sliced through like butter.
But they don't have level 2 forts. Why don't they have...
Yeah, they really need to upgrade those forts if they're going to stand against fights like this. And, you know, they make almost 100 ducats a month even whilst they're occupied like this. They have the cash flow. They should invest
They
in
have-
better fortifications.
They have just not built up their forts and the defense. Well, they got the manpower to fight this for a while, but so does the others.
Yeah. I mean, fortunately for them, the Mamluks and the Milanese and the Papal States were sent far north. But, okay, so the Crusaders have pulled back a little bit. They now, however, control the strait between Tayura and Mocha, so Yemenese troops are stuck on the African side of the country, all whilst their capital is under occupation. That's not going to be good for their war score, heavens no. No, their war exhaustion, rather, that thing is going up. And with these occupations being on them, and these blockades, that's not very good for the looting on their side either. That's pretty good for the Crusaders, so if nothing else, the Crusaders make a pretty penny out of it. Ooh, more revolts for Yemen, but it's revolts that the Papal State has to deal with.
Oh, and Newfoundland's getting attacked by... the player in Vermont is attacking the Great Britain's colonial nations.
I
but
really don't think Great Britain's going to be jumping on that to save them.
But there's their own colonial nation. They should be defending their colonial nation from being attacked.
Let's see what GB is up to. Now, GB does not appear to be getting involved. I don't know if they will. I mean, they can always jump in and force peace to get involved in the war. But Vermont's taking their chance.
This is something we really need to fix because this is a super big exploit. It's like you're supposed to be able to attack colonial nations if you're a native nation and you don't have to involve the major power. But when you are like one of these nations that move to another territory, if you're the same religion group, you should not be able to attack someone's colonial nation like that.
Because you've got the likes of the United States and Vermont. They're not exactly the natives that aren't going to draw in Big Brother Great Britain.
Yeah, so this is an exploit, a pretty big exploit. We need to fix this immediately.
Righto, we have the Crusaders coming back south again, but there aren't... I don't think they're sticking as close together this time, but maybe they're going to take it a little slower and not get caught out like they did before. Yemen, okay, I see. Yemen's troops are actually fairly well drilled for that fight, at least the ones that weren't mercenaries. So that explains why they got a real extra bit of edge in that combat.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Jerusalem takes care of the Arabian side, and it's up to Papal States of Milan to take care of the other side. Okay, and they're bringing in more, right? Extra units on the Crusader side. Yemen has to pull back. I know it's tempting for Yemen to just jump on in here, but he can't afford to be taking these fights in such unfavorable situations. He should be pulling back to his forts, winning the battles there. We got a pitched battle against the Papal States over in Bayuda. There's a lot of reinforcements flowing in, and if they can arrive in time, which they will, there we go. That is Yemen's loss. Yemen needs to take advantage of his fortifications and not run into his own atrocious desert land, because there's little to gain from protecting the province of Bayuda. It's all about getting the war score you can from battles, because that's all Yemen can do in this kind of war. I'm also left wondering what the Crusaders are after here. Doubtlessly the rich lands of Cairo. Maybe enough to cut off the remnants of the Mamluks and claim that for themselves, but they probably want to spread the word of God a bit further.
We have another play war. It's against Great Britain.
Oh, and not just that. I see Brazil at war with Brunswick, Saxony, and Prussia.
So Great Britain and Brazil to get a United States and Sardinia Piedmont.
Oh, Jings, it's all going on here. This is Brunswick's conquest on Artois. So Brunswick wanted to pick the fight, probably for victory cards? Do they have one there? Yes, they do. Brazil have their victory card over on Artois. They've decided to go gunning on in. And hey, it's not too shabby for them. That's their 3,000 pointer. If they can blitzkrieg through this before many reinforcements can arrive, that'll be great for them. But oh my. Brunswick, Prussia, and Saxony against Great Britain, Sardinia, Piedmont, and Brazil. Just when we thought the hatchet had been buried in Europe. Well, we said Central Europe. This feels a bit Western to me. Gotta hand it to Brunswick. They were a big winner in the previous couple of sessions, grabbing all that rich coastal land. And they are continuing on it. Big battle going on. Yep, over in Anglo.
It was a slaughter.
Oh,
but then
good God, the Brits! The Brits! Oh.
You heard about the stories in the 19th century where, like, Prince Albert was, or someone in Britain was asking the German chancellor, well, what would happen? What would you do if the British army landed in Schleswig or something? And the German leader basic answer, well, I would have them arrested, of course.
Well, there was no arrest there. It was just a slaughter.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't think there's any chance for anyone to fight that army there.
It's a death stack right there, and they're very well led with 6-4-5-4 leader. The Prussians can march in where they want, and that's great backup for Brunswick. I'm not sure Prussia is going to get a whole lot out of this war, but Brunswick is certainly going for that formerly French coastline, and there's little reason for them not to. And that's going to be working wonders for their score. That's going to add 3,000 as well as ticking war score, so not too shabby for them. I suppose by helping out, Prussia's getting some insurance that Brunswick won't go for the 2 victory cards they have on Prussia. And that it's good to solidify a relation like that in case Commonwealth does come knocking. Note that the Commonwealth is not involved in this war.
I'm just thinking, where's the Brazilian armies?
The Brazilian armies are down defending down in Iberia, mostly in Portugal. And that's probably all they're going to be doing, defending. After watching what happened to the British army, I don't think they want any part of that. But Sardinia Piemont's involved as well. I'm a little surprised they don't try to group up. There are quite a lot of them between themselves.
Yeah.
It's funny that they're all just watching and waiting on the Prussian army to do the sieges. I wonder what Andalusia makes of this then, because Andalusia is allied with Sardinia Piedmont, notably not with Brazil, although they are improving relations there. But they don't seem to be contributing anything to the fight. Probably not wanting it to escalate much beyond what it already has done.
Yeah, you don't want to get in Commonwealth for...
Yeah, no. If things get a little too one-sided, the Commonwealth has this habit of coming on in. They jumped on in when Milan got attacked by 3-4 powers before, and I think if they sensed an imbalance in the force, they would be rocking on in again.
Well, and here's like United States. What did they do with their armies? They're still stuck in
United States has an army?
Well, it's about the British size.
Okay. Just chilling out in Muskogee. That's all they have to do. I think Vermont has a bigger army than the United States at this point. Bigger everything, honestly.
Yeah, not that hard.
This doesn't look good for Sardinia Piedmont. And there's the thing: if they're not willing to resist this attack, it could be land for Saxony to grab, and that couldn't be good news for Milan. Milan has been kept alive by the good graces of their Italian friends here. Also hung out to dry by the good graces of their Italian friends, but apparently that's all water under the bridge now. If Sardinia Piedmont is raised, what's to stop Saxony just marching in on Milan?
Press F for Manchu.
Is that the end of Manchu? Oh my. Oh, what the heck is that? Whatever it is, I don't like it.
It's one of those things to like completely destroy because it's like...
Oh.
It's devastated country that cannot be protected, yada yada.
It's funny, he went to war and he didn't take his claim. Jeez. Starnan, this was not part of the agreement. Yeah, poor Manchu. I'm just wondering if Japan is going to come in and take what's left.
Yeah, if I'm Japan, I would do that. But
Japan wants to take everything. There's just so much in the world to take in so little time. Right, Prussia marches on in immediately at 7% on Lyonnaise. And I am struggling to see what the Brazilians and Sardinia Piemonts can do here. Oh, well, we have peace. Well, peace for them at least. Okay, so Brunswick have grabbed their victory cards. Well, their victory card. They've taken the province of Valois for reasons unknown. Perhaps that's going to go to Saxony. Saxony grabbed themselves Maine, Bas Poitou, and another coastal province there. So, hey, Saxony has a coast. That works out pretty good for them. So all the powers here, Saxony, Commonwealth, Prussia, Brunswick, all enjoy a coastline and should now be able to project their powers even further. That could be bad news for Britain.
Well, Britain is no longer a power.
Well, I really think that Britain could be toppled on the waves and invaded. Honestly, we could have Saxons in Britain again. If Saxony wants to have more of a coastline and more of an international influence, I really think that Saxony could maybe employ some Prussian or Brunswick navy to grind down the British and then invade themselves. Because what can Britain do to resist? Right, we're a little bit too early in history for them to have a Royal Air Force. They're just gonna get pushed out.
So we have Delhi number 1, Ming number 2, Saxony number 3, with Nepal and Commonwealth not far outside. Brazil is.
I'm really impressed to see Saxony number 3 because that is not a pleasant starting position. But they have broken out, you know, even against the Starnan in Switzerland. And they've managed to triumph very well. There's a question about what happened down in Egypt. Well, Yemen has capitulated there, and the Jerusalemite coastline grows ever further. Although he has not taken Mecca.
And Cairo is Milanese.
For some reason they slightly share that area with the Papal State, but Papal States... Did they actually take land in that for themselves? Yes, they did. They got 3 provinces there. I see. They probably just needed to take Sharqiya so that they could grab the Suez and Sinai for themselves. I'd be surprised if that isn't given to Milan in time. But that's given Milan the border they need to, what is this, another crusade? Because either way, they're gobbling up the last of the Mamluks. Oh, it's just conquest, but I honestly think the Mamluks are going to be gone after this.
So we had 3 interesting player wars there. Or they were not that interesting long term. They were basically gobble-ups.
Mm-hmm. But it really was a show of strength to see who was dominant in the region, right? Yemen, pretty big, but ultimately they couldn't stand up to a crusade from Europeans. Great Britain highlighting the weakness of their army and perhaps to a lesser extent their navy there. And a big show of strength from Saxony, right? They can fight pretty well, but they've also got some really good allies holding their back.
Yeah, so Brunswick benefited from that. And those 3 nations are tied heavily together.
Oh, yes. So it's almost a suicide pact for them because if one goes down, the other 2 are going to follow. But as long as they can support each other, they're going to do very well. The thing is, perhaps the Commonwealth is seeing this display from Prussia, Brunswick, and Saxony and thinking they're getting a little too powerful. Because the Commonwealth is super powerful, but they're not really expanding and gaining more power, right? I mean, sure, there's Finnish land to be taken and some Novgorodian land still to be taken off of Sweden here. But that's not really going to bolster the Commonwealth all that much. They should probably be devising their plan to grab land either off of Prussia or Hungary, but if they wanted more long-term security, I'd say band together with Brazil, Andalusia, any Italian that you can, and bring the fight to Prussia, Brunswick, and Saxony. But that's my hot take on it. It could be they don't think that's in their best benefit. And who's to say, if Ming and Hungary come to blows, that could tie up the Commonwealth pretty badly if they choose to still side with Hungary. Which I honestly don't know why they're still allied. I would have dropped that one like a hot potato long ago. Yedrello's in the chat saying that Austria is so low-key. Austria's been playing a low-key ever since they got rather brutalized in European wars. I mean, they lost Vienna, they lost Tyrol. They're kind of this weird hybrid semi-Yugoslavian state across the Adriatic, whilst holding Greece and a barbaric half of Anatolia. It's not pretty, but they're still on the map. And,
well, they're as irrelevant as Great Britain. So.
Let's not go that far. Austria has an army. Timurids came out of that war without any losses because they didn't commit anything to it. But I really wonder what the plan is for Timurids. If they can't make good friends, right? That wasn't exactly a good show of friendship between Arheo and Clausewitz is cool. But if the Indians decide to attack Timurids again, who would help him in that war? Honestly,
they are allied with Hungary and Austria on the map. So
we were just talking about non-powerful nations. I reckon that Delhi and Nepal could each take on the Timurids if they really wanted.
Well, if Delhi and Nepal attacks the Timurids, you know what I'm doing if I'm Ming?
I'd be jumping on that.
I would attack Delhi immediately because there's this nice little place called Assam, which is a 3K victory record for Ming.
That is powerful stuff for Ming. But notice that the Delhi army is almost entirely positioned there. Ming and Timurids, I really think they should drop the rivalry, ally together, and bring the fight to India. 2v2, right? Nepal are incredibly powerful. Delhi have incredibly rich lands. Ming have a huge army, obviously, and Timurids, yeah. And I'd just love to see that fight, a whole subcontinent fight.
Well, Japan is huge and is super strong and loads of money.
And Japan have everything going for them now, right? Tons of money. Are they making the most money, or are they managed to outstrip Ming? No, Ming's still making more. But Japan is almost untouchable, right? Japan have their high-quality navy, plenty of it. Nobody could go and breach them on their island.
I think there's richer countries than Ming. Brazil.
That's alternate history for you. There's some questions coming in about the size of armies. So if we check out player armies sorted by total, Ming and Delhi are almost tied with the largest armies, but Ming have a much higher force limit going on. Brazil are actually third top with the size of their army, which just makes it all the more strange that they didn't get involved in the fighting, but they must have seen that Prussian stack and thought, not worth it, not worth the losses.
Yeah.
Commonwealth fight low-key, it's only 148,000. They have tons of manpower, but their force limit isn't all that high. I wonder if they're investing in buildings to help with that.
Brazil is doing a nice border adjustment. They're adjusting in South America and in Iberia, mopping up the remnants of Spain.
There we go, as they should. Right, New Granada is old news. Oh right, Vermont have a Columbia, an oddly situated one around Panama, but they have it. I wonder what the diplomacy is between Brazil and Vermont, because I can't see Vermont defending that. Not that it's the greatest land known to man, but hey, that sugar in Panama, that coffee in Darien, what a disaster.
Coffee.
Some people think there's going to be war in Asia, what with all the troops moving around, but Delhi have stationed a bit more than a peacekeeping force over on that 3,000 point victory card. It's odd to keep it on the border there because that lets Ming know where their armies are and ruins any element of surprise, whereas Delhi have no idea where the Ming troops are. But Delhi's well defended, they got forts galore. Looks to be largely level 2 forts, though, if I'm not mistaken. It might be. Hungary, your faithful ally, is requesting to come to their aid in a Hungarian conquest against Ming. Hungary are picking a fight with Starnan's Ming. They're bringing in Genoa. They're bringing in Timurids. They're bringing in the Commonwealth. They're bringing in Delhi and Nepal. So it would seem that this was the final part of Hungary's master plan. yelling death to the false emperor of China. Interesting move. We were just talking about how powerful China is, but against all of India and Timurids and Hungary, I don't know if Genoa or Commonwealth are going to bring that much to the fight. Well, then again, I can't see the Commonwealth armies. Oh, here they are. Right. Ming's got a big fight in his hands.
Ming is getting another front that does not like the Timurids anymore. If it's
I see that alliance coming in from Yemen. Yemen must remember what the Timurids did or didn't do for them in previous war. They've taken it. We'll keep an eye, see if we have any of the fights coming in. And we'll see if Yemen get involved here, right? Malacca are allied here. Malacca are... they're not being played this session, no, but as an AI, they'll be dragged on in. And here we go. Yemen have gotten involved. Yemen will be able to attack the flank of Timurids. And it looks like Timurids have dedicated their army to this front. The nature of this war goal is the conquest of Argin. So it's not going to be too much down to battles. It's going to be a lot on war score from occupations here. Starnan is recruiting and recruiting hard, but he might be recruiting too not deep enough into his own country. Some of those units are straggling. Mecca is yelling that it is World War I. Well, it feels more like the Sino invasion here, the invasion of the Sinos, but is anybody going to join in on Ming's side? I think Ming have a good advantage here in that this is their country. They can defend it. Their forts are actually at a decent level. Well, some of them are at least. But they need to react.
This is the main problem with Japan right now, is that they don't have any incentive to jump in.
Yeah, if anybody was hoping that Japan would join in on either side, you have to ask yourself, why would they? What do they stand to gain from it? I think this is a good opportunity for Japan to watch the fireworks. Okay, we get an idea of how Ming's army fights and how their enemies fight. Morale is not that high for the Ming, but it was enough to push out the Timurids. If I'm Ming, I'm worrying greatly about how we're going to perform against Nepal, because Nepal's units have not that much more morale actually. Discipline's fairly good. I was expecting a bit more out of Nepal here. They've got quantity, quality, expansion, trade, and naval. Wait, they've taken naval? Do they want to fight against the Kaiser on the seas, or do they want to take a pilgrimage to Britain? Either way, early battle victory for the Ming, first of its kind. But there's a lot of Commonwealth troops pouring in, and the Commonwealth troops fight very hard. Their morale is a whole lot more than the Ming's.
It's interesting that Saxony is involved in every war their allies are in, so they always help out, but no Prussia, no Brunswick.
No, and they have no reason to be forced to be involved in this war, right? It's a million miles away from home for them. It would just leave them vulnerable to counterattack, especially from some angry Italians, or not allow them to pursue their own goals. Prussia certainly seems to want more and more of Scandinavia. Right. That fort in Lhasa isn't going to hold out much longer. Ming does have a large country to defend, but it should be defended on their terms here. Northern forts are falling to the Commonwealth. And this will be a tough one for the Ming to come out of on top. Yemen, have they been pouring in at all? They have arrived in Timurid land, and they scored.
The Timurid armies moved back to fight them, so we'll see.
They're going to retake that fort and then beat up on the Yemenis, who have divided themselves up a bit too much inside Timurid land. That could be a bit of a liability. Okay, Ming, what are you up to? At this point, Lhasa is about to fall, which is a shame. That's a level 6 mountainous fort. Better to have that than surrender it there. Do you think Commonwealth is helping Hungary for their victory card? Asks Bane in chat. Let's have a look at that. Well, the Hungarians don't have the victory card over here. It could be that the Commonwealth are helping Hungary in this war in exchange for getting that card. Which could well be what you mean. Lhasa is down. Onwards over to Narshu.
Holy shit, the Chinese troops are shit. They are getting slaughtered by a single Commonwealth stack up in the north.
Yeah, the Commonwealths have a lot better discipline, 2 points more morale. Yeah, the Commonwealth can just win this one. On the battles. Okay, the Ming are pouring in units now. I think he had a change of heart after he saw how hard he fell there, though. Oh, that's not good for Ming. That is quite the opposite of good for Ming. Oh.
He can't give up with that. That's his superior arms.
That is the power of bringing the Commonwealth into your wars. Alright, now that the Ming has seen that, he's going to have to rethink about bringing the fight to the north rather than the south. That said, he is bringing the fight to the south. He's going into the mountainous province of Nagchu. It's only 3 development, which isn't fun to siege up for Delhi. But I reckon the Ming's bringing in just what he needs to kick Delhi out. Delhi have good morale there and better discipline, but the power of the mountainside might be helping out.
And our hero is teaching them a lesson.
Oh.
And we have a war.
Helia's bringing it on as well. It's time for Manchurian revenge.
Yeah, but that's only because he wants to hurt them while Japan is invading him.
I mean, he doesn't have much other option.
Because Japan took the opportunity to just attack Manchu.
Yeah, well, no one's going to protect Manchu there. Manchu might as well send his troops somewhere.
Where's the Ming armies?
They're on a long trip back to Beijing, I think. They have been slaughtered both in the north and in the south. The Ming armies are inferior to Delhi's and to Commonwealth's, so there's not a whole lot they can do there. I'm watching the Yemenese troops be kind of stuck inside Timurids, whilst Timurid is chasing them down. Because now
and the Timurid has soon taken the Japanese capital.
Oh yeah, Crivens, they went right in there. Where's the Timurids victory cards in all of this? Okay, it's only in... it's on Hungary and it's on Delhi, which makes it all the stranger to me that Timurids joined on that side in this war. Then again, if they joined the Ming side, I don't think it would go too pretty for them. Ooh, this is interesting. Yemen's actually kicking Timurid's arse. When it comes to the fight, Timmy needs to bring in quite a few more troops to beat Yemen there.
Well, he's losing his capital though, so...
Well, Mandate is on its way down because China's being devastated. I'm unsure what the Ming can really offer up now in terms of resistance. The Commonwealth are now firmly in his nation in the north. The Indians are coming in through the southwest. And he's tapped on his manpower. Loads of money, but the Ming is tapped here, and he just doesn't have the quality of troops that he needs to pull on through. He has offensive, he has quantity, but he's still filling out his quality ideas. He's not there yet. He needs to be there.
This is the good thing, is that Ming is absolutely huge.
Yeah, he can't be single-handedly defeated in one war here. Even if they took a 100% war score, it's a splash in the ocean for the land that Ming has. Quantity being an interesting choice there. So does anybody have victory cards to take off of the Ming here?
Delhi, maybe? Vijayanagar?
So here we go. Nepal, formerly known as Vijayanagar, do have their 2,000 points to be taken from Ming in Zhejiang. I honestly don't think that's the best thing for Nepal to do, because sure, they've brought this massive coalition against China once, but the thing with massive coalitions is you usually only get them once, maybe twice. Commonwealth isn't going to join in a second time. I doubt Genoa will. And after this, I'm not so sure Timurids would be either. So if Nepal took their victory card, they would be unable to defend that against counterattack. Got player wars in Africa as well. What's going on there? Okay, again taking advantage of the tumultuous situation. Benin is going for Kilwa, knowing full well that Nepal are too busy dedicating themselves to the Chinese front. We can see right there, Kilwa and Nepal have a truce, so Nepal decided to drop Kilwa, whilst Delhi decided to join in. Not sure if helping out's the right word, but certainly join in.
The fleet, the Benin fleet is getting.
Where is it? Or where was it?
On the west coast of Africa.
Okay, there. Okay,
like,
so Kilwa do have the
outside of
heavies. Kilwa have the heavies to bring in. If they could force the Brazilian fleet out to play, they might actually be able to scupper Brazil's fleet, and that would set them back a fair bit. Wait, Saxony is in the war against Ming as well? Good lord, this is coast to coast. It is the duty of all nations in North America to invade Ohio, so says
And Genoa is in the war against Ming as well. We forgot about them.
Yeah, they've been doing a good job fighting against the Timurids, but the Timurids look to have turned the tables now. There we go. Timurids have them wiped out, have their capital occupied. This is a horribly familiar situation for Yemen. Ooh, oh man,
well,
Kilba's not going to be coming out very well of this. Here's the thing, Ming are going to be hurt a bit, right? Their full war score cost is 1,896. That's not going to hurt too much. Kilwa, on the other hand, are going to be, they're going to be facing big losses from this.
Yeah, Kilwa's getting eliminated basically from this.
Yeah, the protection Nepal offered them has now been turned against them because Nepal was too busy elsewhere. Benin is flooding on in, and with this, Benin will be able to take all the places of importance. Kilwa will just be reduced to a rump state and consumed later. Best case scenario for Kilwa is that they're left with just Madagascar, but I'm not sure Benin will allow that.